Okay, let's get set to sketch the curve of y equals negative cosine x plus 1. Now that plus 1 refers to the vertical shift, where that curve can be shifted upwards or downwards along the kind of like the y-axis. And of course in the front we have a negative. What does that mean? It means we're going to have a reflection. So a reflection is when a ceiling becomes a basement or when a mountain becomes a valley. The curve kind of reflects itself about the x-axis. So over here we know that the value for a here will be negative because a is less than 0. So we're going to get a reflection, so we're going to take note of that. Also, because of that plus 1, we're going to shift it at the last minute. First of all, what we're going to do is we're going to first draw y equals negative cosine x and then shift it to y equals negative cosine x plus 1. We're going to take it in 3 simple steps. Step number 1, we're going to work out its period so we can mark out the increments across the x-axis. Step number 2, we're going to plot the points, and then once we've drawn y equals negative cosine x, we're going to shift it plus 1 upwards, vertically up, because that's what the plus 1 refers to, and we're going to draw the new curve there. So let's go through the steps. Step number 1 is to find the period. Many of you know this formula already, but for those who don't, here it is again. P period equals 2 pi on b. Now b is the coefficient to x. As you can see, there's b with the x. So our b here happens to be just 1. So it's going to be fairly simple to work out. So period equals 2 pi on 1, which equals 2 pi. Okay, so it's just 2 pi. So the increments across here will move over to 2 pi like that. So let's break it up into quarters. Let's start off with pi on 2. Then we go to pi, then 3 pi on 2. Okay, we're going to start to plot the points, see what this starts to look like. So first off, we got the y equals negative cosine x. We're just going to focus on plotting that left-hand side there and ignore the plus 1 for now. So negative cosine x, well, conventionally, normally, cosine x would go at 1 because cos of 0 is 1. So it would go down like this, cut through pi on 2, go under like this, go back up through 3 pi on 2, and then at 1 again at the x point of 2 pi. So it looked like kind of like a curve like that. But because we have a reflection, it will mirror that, and up will become down and down will become up. So instead of starting at 0, 1, we're going to begin at 0, negative 1. So our first point will be right there. And then through here, cosine of pi on 2 is 0, so that doesn't change. And then we come up here, cosine of pi will give you a negative value, but we're going to go positive because of the negative already here. So it should be right here, pi 1. There's our point pi 1. And then 3 pi on 2 will give us 0 again. And finally, 2 pi will give us negative 1 because we have a negative cosine. So that'll be negative 1, approximately there. So the curve is going to look something like this. There's our 1, just checking the height of that amplitude. There's our curve right there. So that's what it's going to look like. So let me put something solid there to make it more opaque for you. Okay, there's our curve there, roughly. And that's our curve of negative cosine x. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to shift it vertically upwards. So we're going to mark out the points. So the first thing you want to do is mark out the vertical points directly above each of these. So the first point is this one here. On the y-axis, we have negative 1. We'll move vertically up to 0, 0, right over here, like that. And then we've got pi on 2. Let me just clear that up again. That's pi on 2. Write it nice and neat so you can see it. Pi on 2 will go upwards to this point right over there, will become pi on 2, 1. So let me just put a point there. There's that point. Then pi over here is already at 1, so that's going to go further up. Let me just go, that's going to go further up. So that's going to go up to 2. Let's put a marker there. It's going to be right there. There's our 2 point. So they're going up. So this point here at 3 pi on 2 will go vertically up also. And they'll go up to about 1 right over there. Let's put that there. There's our 1 straight line. And finally, down here we have 2 pi negative 1. That point's going to go up to 2 pi right there on the axis, on the x-axis. So that'll go up to there. Let's put that arrow there. So they're all going vertically up. So let's shift now. Let's do the +1. There's our +1. Let's shift it up. I'm going to physically carry it upwards. There we go. There's our new curve. It's a little bit rough. As you can see previously, we have y equals negative cosine x. And up here right at the top, we have the final product. Let's have a look at what we have here. We have the final product up here, y equals negative cosine x plus 1. There it is, shifted up. The period is, well, from here to here, which is 2 pi. And the period is the distance that the curve moves along the x-axis before it starts repeating itself. So there's the period right there. From there to there, it's 2 pi, and it happens to fit perfectly with the domain, which is 0 less than or equal to x, x less than or equal to 2 pi. Hope that helps.